Okay, welcome back. So yesterday we started a murder investigation. Looks like there's a serial killer around, so let's see what we find out today. Continue. Okay, so we talked to some people, we checked her body. We were heading over to scene of crime. Okay, let's see.
Do your shopping here.
Well, I'm over here. Let's see what kind of pole arms this guy have.
Gepriesen sei der Herr. What do you need?
I haven't leveled them up at all, so.
What do you have for sale?
Nothing that looks cool.
Wie schade, mein Herr.
Okay, guess you can't exit through there. Let's try the next one over.
Come and take your pick.
There we go. Yeah, let's see. Let's get our horse. Horsey.
Easy, good horse. Whoa!
Ow! You try to run me over, you idiot!
This is the place. There's a lot of blood and some footprints. I'm not sure how much more I'll be able to find. Christ, that's a lot of blood. But after seeing what they did to the girl, I'm not surprised. I'm not sure I'll be able to find any remains. I wonder what happened to them. I can't make anything out of this. The whole town's been walking around here. There could have been one killer or a dozen. I'm surprised I haven't completely trampled out the blood. It's hard to make out, but I think I see some slashing from a blade. So, there's still a lot of blood left, but I expected even more. I found some faint blade marks. Either the others were trampled out, or someone skilled was wielding it. It didn't look to me like any remains were left lying around. No idea what he did with them. Did he keep them or throw them away?
Did you see something, sir? Did you see something? No.
Why the long face? Oh, I've just got this.
Let's see, what's the portions I got?
It's nasty.
Free stuff?
Well.
Keep your eyes on the road, fool.
Lumir. Is that the guy that said you can find usually drunk? So maybe we should stop by and see if we can buy some potions for that.
Nice and slow.
Sober him up or something. Okay, so you went in the back way.
Dich zu sehen. Grüß dich. Was wünschst du?
I'll have a look at the wares.
Anything for drunkenness? Ew. Supply them all.
I'm glad you found what you were looking for, sir.
Oh, we're close to the barber now. That's something that got introduced in the new patch.
I'm sorry. Intoxicating. The smell of a... Crushed again? I'm sorry?
A cut and a shave, please.
Here we go for this now. Can always come back and change it.
Ha! Now you're sure to turn some girl's head. Excuse me.
Come here, boy.
Okay, stop being sidetracked.
Lumir?
Oh. Christ, my head. Not so loud.
I need to ask you something.
I said not so loud. I have a splitting headache.
That's some hangover. He's useless to me like this. Unless I'm willing to wait for him to sleep it off, I'll have to get him some kind of cure or potion. This should sober him up. Here. Drink up. Better?
What? Who... What are you doing here? Who are you?
My name is Henry.
And what do you want from me?
I'm trying to find out who killed a certain girl. And I was sent to you.
To me? What for?
Are you Lumiere from the Rat House? The scribe?
I used to be. Now I'm just Lumiere the Madman.
Well, you don't look crazy.
Yeah. But I am. I see things in my head that aren't real. And then I point my finger at the wrong people. I'm the biggest madman in Kuttenberg.
But I need your help.
If I were you, lad, I'd leave it be. You can't help that girl anymore.
I haven't
anyway.
mentioned
You'll
that
just
girl.
end up hurting yourself.
Come now, Lumiere.
Poor girls. Nobody was all that interested in it, except for me. We let it be in the end. We let a
did.
monster walk among us. No way. You can't solve this yourself.
I'm not doing it for myself. I'm afraid he might kill one of my friends.
A friend, eh? That's not good. Not good at all. I searched high and low. And what did I get out of it? Just mockery. What makes you think you can find out more than I did?
I'm not drunk.
Because I'm stubborn, and I don't have any other choice. I'll get to the truth no matter what.
You think that will suffice?
If not, I'd have been dead long ago. Bled out from a human arrow.
All right. Talk to me. Who was this dead girl?
Her name was Alice. She worked as a maid.
A maid? That fits. Yarka was a maid too. As were most of the other victims. What did she look like? What did he do to her?
I think that he strangled her first, and then went at her with a longer blade and disemboweled her.
Did you notice the strangulation right away? It took me a while. Maybe you really will track him down.
Do you think it's the same murder?
Counting your girl, that makes 6 victims who were first strangled and then mutilated. If it's not all the same person, they must be collaborating somehow.
This is the 6th one. How long has he been killing?
Probably about a year now. Sometimes it takes him months, sometimes weeks. But I'm including missing girls. Stanya and Zdena.
Why are you counting the missing girls?
Because I think someone killed them, and we just haven't found them yet.
Did the dead girls have anything in common?
Aside from being pretty young girls with no proper family or background, no. I couldn't find much.
Do you think somebody is killing them because they're poor, and nobody will miss them?
Certainly. If somebody killed the daughter of a local lord, no stone would be left unturned.
But why does he even kill in the first place?
I don't know. Maybe he hates women. Damn it. I feel like I'm going in circles and can't get out.
What can you tell me about Yarka?
She wasn't the first. But thanks to her, people started taking an interest. She was a maid in a German family. By all accounts, she was a pious, polite girl. She was orphaned as a child. The priest from the church of St. Peter and Paul, Father Prokop, raised her. They found her body tossed behind a barn at the edge of town. She was cut all the way from her neck downwards. An awful sight to behold.
Did you have any suspects?
At first, I thought the son from that family did it. The murderer is usually someone close, you know. But then I changed my mind.
Why?
Well, for one, I remembered the 2 girls before her who ended up almost the same. Besides that, when I talked to the lad, he seemed he wasn't the least bit interested in Yarka. Then his mother told me that they threw her out a week before the murder because she was a harlot who stayed out till all hours of the night. That really surprised me, because Father Prokop had vouched for her good reputation. But who knows? Maybe he just didn't want to admit what had become of her.
What about Stanya?
She was an alehouse wench in a tavern of ill repute called the Hole in the Wall.
You said her body was never found. Maybe she just got out of town.
You have no idea how much I'd like to believe that. Only there was a lot of blood. Unfortunately, the investigation wasn't very successful. The Hole is a world of its own, and the people there aren't very forthcoming with information.
Did you suspect anybody?
You could suspect every second man there. Those people have nothing but thievery and deceit in their eyes. The innkeeper, Mole, definitely knew Stanya, since she worked for him. But he isn't all that chatty either.
So if I want to learn anything more, I have to ask this mole in the hole.
Yeah, he still runs the place.
And what about that Zdena? You said her body was never found.
Exactly. But to tell the truth, nobody spent much time looking for it. Besides Alice, Zdena was the most recent victim. It's only been a few weeks since she went missing, but I suppose nobody wanted to do any more digging.
But if her body was never found, how do you know she was killed?
Because she was the same type as the other girls. Maybe the prettiest of them all. Young, beautiful. A real live one. Lively as the devil. She was a thief. A pickpocket. I never could
Well,
pin
that's
it
a
on her,
reason to
though.
be killed.
She always found
Someone
some way to
caught
get
her.
out of it.
Maybe she robbed the wrong people and had to get out of town.
Maybe. She had a partner in crime by the name of Strunad. Quite a number. He's always sitting in the hole, boozing. When I asked him about Zdena, he told me he'd rather rip his own tongue out than talk.
Do you think he'd be more forthcoming with me?
He might be. You're not known all over town like a catchpole. It's worth a try. Besides, it might still be fresh in his memory. That would be a great help.
And what about the other two victims?
It all started with them, though nobody did much about it at the time. The first one worked as a bathhouse maid. They called her Chestnut. She'd only been in town for a short while, and nobody really knew her. So I couldn't find out anything more. But the other one, Libushka, she was from Loretz. She was a maidservant, too. I also talked to her mother. She said she was really cheerful and outgoing. There were lots of suitors circling around her, but she refused them all. She knew she was pretty, and knew she could do better than some farmhand.
You mean she wanted someone higher up?
That's what it sounded like. But her mother never found out who she had her eye on.
Interesting. I'll try to see what else I can find out from the mother. Where can I find her?
In the graveyard, lad.
Oh,
Poor woman died of grief. It's sad to say, but we can't
be
help
hard
those
to
two dead girls
talk with
now.
her then.
And they can't help us with our investigation either. There's nobody else left who could tell us anything about them.
Why were you looking into it? Who were those dead girls to you?
I don't know what people told you about me, but for many long years I was a scribe for Kuttenberg's bailiff. Kuttenberg is a big city with a lot of people. Silver, silver, silver. Mining it, smelting it, stealing it. There's always something going on. The bailiff was always running from hell to Hades, from one rich man to another, settling their quarrels. Often trivial nonsense.
But there are more than just rich burghers and lords in the city.
Exactly. There are common folk, too. There's a lot more of them, and their troubles are usually more serious. So when one of them came to the bailiff's one time, and the bailiff was running around somewhere, I started to deal with it myself. I was pretty good at it, too.
Behind the bailiff's back.
Not really. Andreas supported my activities until recently.
What happened?
I don't want to talk about it. Sorry.
Yeah, any
Did you have any
suspects?
suspects back then?
You can always find some suspect. I always dragged the most suspicious ones to the body in the morgue by force. And they threw up at the sight. Or fainted.
Couldn't it have just been an act?
Fainting? Vomiting? That's hard to act. I'd swear none of them did it.
Can you sum it all up for me?
We have 6 victims here. And I believe they were all murdered by the same killer. Unfortunately, we only know a little about the last 4. The most recent ones. By now, we won't learn anything about the first 2. Of the remaining 4, the first to be killed was the maidservant, Yarka. She was raised by Father Prokop from the Church of St. Peter and Paul. He should know the most about her. The next were Stanya and Zdena. Their bodies weren't found, but we assume they also became victims of the same murderer. They both hung around a tavern they called the Hole in the Wall. Stanya was an alehouse maid, and Zdenna a pickpocket. And the last victim is Alice now, also a maid. What they all have in common is that they were young, beautiful, and brunette.
Good. I know everything I need to know.
When you learn something more, stop by and see me. You've aroused a bit of hope in me, lad. I hope you won't disappoint me.
Okay, who's closest? That one.
Good day to you.
He tests each of us in different ways. Good day to you. What brings you here?
Father, I need to ask you a few questions.
I don't have time for theological discussions, my son.
That's not why I'm here. My name's Henry, and I wanted to ask about the murder that happened recently. Someone killed and gutted a young maidservant and left her body lying by the city walls. And I hear it's not the first time this has happened.
Another one murdered. May the Lord grant her eternal rest. Why is it you ask?
I fear for my sister. She's also a maid.
Yes. Fear for those close to you is commendable. What would you like to hear?
One of the other victims was a girl named Yarka. But I reckon you know that, don't you? What can you tell me about her?
About Yarka. She was an ordinary girl. She served the von Groll family.
Where did you know Yarka from?
I knew her since she was a little girl. Knew her family.
And?
I was her uncle. When my brother and his wife died, I took care of her.
Who do you think killed her?
William, that pig of Satan. He gambles in the tavern on All Saints' Day and leads the locals astray. Yarka always went there to listen to music.
Why do you think it was William? Do you have any evidence?
Evidence? He's a skirt chaser, a tool of Satan. He messes with poor girls' heads.
And does anyone else come to mind? No other man spoke with her?
No, absolutely not.
You raised her? A priest with a child?
Yes. Unfortunately, I'm not the first of the clergy to have a child on the side. But at least everyone knew Yarka wasn't my own daughter.
Maybe?
No offense, but how did you know what to do? Without a wife, without a family? I would have been lost.
I was a bit, when she was smaller, it was fine, but when she grew up a bit, maybe I was too hard on her.
How does that even work? Did you have her with you at the presbytery?
When she was small, I could. But when she grew up, she had to go. It wouldn't look right.
Why do you think you were too hard on her?
Yarko was an orphan, with no family and no possessions. Her only chance of a good life was a good upbringing. And then, a husband. But the more I led her in that direction, the more she resisted me.
How did she rebel against you?
She wouldn't listen. She ran away. She ran around with all sorts. And how did it turn out? She died. And in sin. Such a disgrace.
Disgrace? What the devil are you talking about?
She was pregnant! Even if she had lived, what then? Nobody would want to marry her anymore.
You're well off, though. Couldn't you provide for her?
I couldn't. Even if she had been my very own. More so, since she was my brother's.
How come?
The church's property always remains the church's. They keep a close eye on that.
Why don't you respect Lumiere?
That's my business. You needn't concern yourself about that. I won't tell you anything.
Come now, Father. I'm not just asking out of curiosity. This is about all the dead girls. Isn't it written in Scripture, speak up for those who have no voice?
A layman quotes the Bible to me. Fine. Lumiere accused me of her murder.
What?
Yes. He slandered me in public.
And how... What happened then?
It turned out he was deranged. How could he even think such a thing? He's finished in Kuttenberg.
I've heard enough, Father. I'll be going.
Son, I'll give you some good advice. Don't listen to Lumiere. That man has gone completely mad.
Did you see the hole by the Prague gate?
Probably had to go out there if I want to fast travel.
The siege has been going on for ages.
Let's see.
Well, this doesn't seem too bad.
Careful.
To you two.
Good day to you.
Good day to you.
Did Estania work here?
Stanya. Maybe. It depends on who's asking.
My name's Henry.
Names don't interest me. The main thing is whether it's a good guest or a bad guest asking. What kind of guest are you, Henry?
There. It looks better already.
I'm a good guest.
Really? Let's see. Do you know how to recognize a good guest?
By the fact he spends a lot of coin?
Aye. I like talking to them kind of guests. A lot. So, what'll it be, my good man?
What if I simply paid you, and you tell me what I want to know?
Ask away.
I want to know if Stanya works here.
She did. And she don't know more. What's it to you?
I heard she disappeared without a trace. So I'm trying to find out if anyone had anything to do with it.
It's possible the chamber she was sleeping in here was totally ransacked. The door open. everything emptied out, and Stanya was gone. All I found were bloody footprints. One beer.
Tell me something else.
First, you'll have another beer. Or is it time to pay?
What?
If you want to ask, you have to drink. Didn't you get that?
You're quite the extortionist.
I prefer to be called an enterprising man of trade. So,
Or we
what'll it
can
be?
just beat him. Let's be nice with the guy. Yeah, let's make his day.
I'm getting tired of this. I'll give you the money up front, and that's all you'll get. Whether I'm a good guest or bad. Got it? Now you're gonna spill it. Got it?
All right, all right.
Did anybody see what actually happened when Stanya disappeared?
No, it was at night. Nobody saw or heard anything. The tavern tends to be empty at that hour. And you won't meet many people on the street, neither.
What was Stanya like? What can you tell me about her?
A bold woman. One has to be here. Everyone's ballsy here unless you nib it in the bud right away. She was hanging around a bard for a while. I don't know how close they were, but she also had another suitor.
Someone from the city?
No, a charcoal burner. I heard he was from somewhere in the, Verchlitz Valley. I think his name was Barton?
Well, maybe she snuck out.
What do you know about that bard?
What about him? He's a minstrel, a skirt chaser. What more can I say? He called himself William. As far as I know, he plays in the Miners' Tavern in the evenings. But sometimes he shows up here, too.
You think he might have been the one who...
Now that you mention it, he cleared out of town for a while and only came back not long ago. It could be him, all right. I know he met with some odd people and talked about God knows what, like bloody spies. Besides, you know what minstrels are like. Lasses just flock to them. And like they say, opportunity makes the thief.
Or in this case, a murderer. Apart from those men, did anyone else know Stanya? I mean, more intimately.
Well, I got bad news for you. She had two close friends, but you won't get much out of either of them.
Why?
One was hit by a cart, even before Stanya disappeared. And she died. And the other one got married and moved away.
How did Stanya's room look?
The door was wide open. Most of her things were gone, but some remained. And there was blood all over the place.
Blood? Was there a lot?
Not so much, really. More like hand or footprints. But they were near everywhere. If someone done her in, they definitely didn't do it in that chamber.
Where can I find this Barton?
I already told you. In the Verchlitz Valley.
Could you be a bit more precise?
I don't know that bloke at all. All I know is he's a charcoal burner. So
Okay.
if I was you, I'd look somewhere around the charcoal kilns.
That's all I need to know.
One beer after another, as usual.
Christ.
Excuse me.
Let's see. Oh, the next one is right next to us.
Are you Sternad? The one that went with Zdenna?
Who the fuck are you?
Just an ordinary bloke who has some questions.
Well then, piss off. You won't get any answers here. All you're gonna get here is a kick in the teeth.
Why so rash? That kind of attitude will do you no favors. Let's make a deal. You tell me everything you know about Zdenna, and I'll make sure you're no worse for wear.
Ah. You're the lord what that whore robbed. Don't worry about it. She weren't nothing but a lying bitch.
So, if I understand correctly, we can make a deal?
For the right price, I'll tell you all I know.
Yeah, how expensive are you? No, I can
Is this the
afford
right
that.
price?
You fucking bet it is. Ask away and I'll tell you everything.
Where can I find Zdenna?
Aye. That's what I like to fucking know too. Last time I saw her... Well, that'd be back when she managed to fleece you.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to find her.
I can well imagine. Well, she went to Ravstein Mill. It's quite a long ways away. She had
what's the
some
mill?
unfinished business with some bloke called Pine.
Why is it
Ain't
all the
nobody
millers
seen
are
her
like
since
crooks in
then.
this game?
What can you tell me about Zdenna?
What do you want to hear? I try to keep her out of trouble, but there's just no helping some women.
So you were taking care of her?
Well, just in front of the others. Other than that, she did what she wanted. Always made her mind up and did things her own way.
So you weren't too fond of her?
Not really, no. But she did have a knack for making coin.
Did she have any friends or lovers who'd know more? Did anybody come here to see her?
Who come to see that bitch? She was always off somewhere, seeing someone. Although, once...
Someone came to see her?
Well, aye. Some stuffed frock came here once. All old and decrepit. He said he had some job for her. That she should leave behind her sinful life and all that shit. But he left empty-handed. She told him to go to hell.
Do you know who that priest was?
Some fucking Prokop or Pravoslav or some such shit. But that reminds me. I saw her a couple of times with another bastard. That fucking bard, William.
Well, that's twice the name William come up.
And could she have run away with this bard, William?
With that lily-livered fop? Well, he ain't been seen in town for some time, but I think someone was out to get him. He still don't come here no more. He plucks that loot of his in the miners' tavern. The wee shit.
What do you know about this priest?
Not much. Seems they knew each other from before, and he had some job for her somewhere, serving as a maid or something. But she weren't stupid. She told him to fuck right off.
And did he go?
Aye, indeed. He didn't look like the kind of fella that would knock some sense into a woman. I think he just told her if she changed her mind to come and see him, or some shit like that.
And could she have changed her mind and gone to him? And that's why nobody's seen her?
No, no. She took off. I'm sure about that.
I've heard enough.
Oh, I was in a jump. It's getting late too.
Where are you headed?
Have
Come
a
back.
kind master.
We need to
eh,
talk.
Toby?
Me? Who else would I be talking to?
What is it?
Show me your pockets.
Why?
Because I said so.
What have I done wrong?
We have to search anyone's.
The poor thing.
God bless.
I'm telling you.
Fuck that.
Eat shit.
No. Past the
You're
tower.
a dead man.
Huh?
Come on then. I'll beat you to a blood.
It's William, right? I need to talk to you.
What is it? Do we know each other? Do I owe you money?
My name's Henry. And no, we don't know each other, and you don't owe me money. But we do have something in common. We have a lot of mutual friends.
What? What do you want of me? I don't have to talk to you.
Well, you don't have to, that's true. But you should. It's in your own best interest.
What are you talking about?
If you don't start giving me some answers right now, I reckon you'll end up begging in the streets. Because I'll break all your fingers, and you'll never play the lute again, you miserable minstrel.
What? No! Come on, I didn't do anything!
Stop whining and talk, or I'll be the one doing something to you.
Come on. All right then. Ask away.
Did you know Alice?
I know a lot of Alice's. You have to be more specific.
The one they found dead somewhere below the town walls.
Oh, her. I didn't know her, but I heard about it.
I heard she used to go to dances.
Yeah, and? I'm not the only musician in the city. I really didn't know her.
They say she had a rich young suitor. Do you know anything about that?
Me? Do I look rich to you? I get paid in food.
But you could at least pass yourself off as wealthy.
Or I could claim to be the Virgin Mary, but I doubt anyone would believe me.
And did you ever meet Yarka? It was a long time ago, but I heard she used to hang around you a lot. And Father Prokop didn't like it.
Oh, that one. Aye, she was very keen on my company for a while, but then she stopped coming.
Because somebody killed her?
I know what happened was a tragedy, but it wasn't my fault. She stopped talking to me long before that. Honest.
And did you know she was pregnant?
What? Yarka was... That's horrible. Who would kill a pregnant woman?
That's what I'd like to find out. What about the unwilling father-to-be? It wouldn't happen to be yours, would it?
What? Mine? I never even got under her skirt. We just flirted a bit, and then she stopped coming by.
And can you tell me anything else about it?
I don't know anything. It was a long time ago. You said so yourself.
And I hear you knew Stanya.
Which one do you mean?
The alehouse wench from the hole. I heard you had something with her too.
Well, she batted her eyes at me a couple of times when I was still playing there. A nice girl, but I didn't know her much.
And the innkeeper Mole told me a different story. He said you were the one coming on to her.
Fine, we had a bit of fun together. But she was always the one who started it.
And aren't you just saying that because she left you?
Oh, come on! I could have any woman, if I wanted. The innkeeper must have got it mixed up. He's an old drunkard after all. If I was you, I wouldn't take him too seriously.
And what about Zdena? You knew her, right?
Do I know Zdena? As wild as the wind and always full of life. And those nimble fingers. You always had to check your purse around her.
Did she steal something from you?
A traveling minstrel doesn't have much to steal, but she was well aware of that. She was on the lookout for some better prey.
You don't happen to know who she wanted to rob?
There were lots. Anyone she thought was rich enough who let her ply her charms for a while. Like young von Groller. When he started coming here, she got to him right away.
His name come up.
Said she was gonna rob him blind. Far as I know, she didn't succeed. If she robbed a noble like von Groller, word would get around. Look, why are you asking me about all this? You don't seriously think I killed her, do you?
Well, you did know them all.
And? I'm surely not the only one.
That may be true. But everybody knows you're a skirt chaser, and they were all pretty girls. And now, they're dead.
But I had nothing to do with it!
So you didn't do anything to them?
No! Why would I? What would I get out of it? It doesn't make any sense. It goes against God.
You dare invoke God?
I admit, I'm no saint, but for Christ's sake, I'd never kill anybody.
Well, we don't have any hard evidence against him.
Good. I believe you. But if any clue leads me back here to you, I won't give you a second chance.
You won't hear about me again, I swear to God. Huh?
Oh, it's just you, eh? Uh-huh.
Carefully, that sword. No, I haven't been out there. Horsey.
Whoa!
Quick! Quick! Da! Go! Da! Quick! Quick! Da! Quick!
Whoa!
Go!
Whoa!
Only charcoal burners.
Here you go. Take it.
Last piece.
God grant you health.
I need to ask you something.
If you're here for charcoal, you'll have to wait.
I'm not here about charcoal. I'm looking for Stanya, an alehouse maid from Kuttenberg.
Aha! And why are you looking here?
I heard she was consorting with some charcoal burner here.
Well, I don't know nothing about that. Who goes with who?
Careful!
I need to ask you something.
I don't have time for that. Ask the foreman. You'll find him around here somewhere.
I'm looking for someone named Stanya.
You're in a charcoal camp, fella. What would a woman be doing here?
But you know Stanya, don't you?
Aye. You could say that. Why?
I'm looking for the killer of a girl in town. And I heard that someone also tried to kill this Stanya.
That's true. She told me something like
Where
that.
are you hiding
But
her?
that was a long time ago.
So you don't know what became of her?
I really don't know, mate. But even if I did know,
Maybe he killed her and
how
burned
can
her.
I be sure you aren't that killer?
Lumir himself, the Kuttenberg bailiff's former scribe, gave me the task. He was looking into her disappearance, and he sent me to find her.
Well, I don't know. I remember Lumir. He was all right. That's all true, but...
But what? What are you still brooding over?
You seem like the right man for a job like that. Sorry, but after all that happened to Stanya, I like to be careful.
So Stanya is here?
Aye. She's hiding with us. Since that thing happened, she's afraid to even go outside. I don't know what to do with her anymore.
Can I speak to her?
If it'll help you. She's hiding in that cottage, but be nice to her. She's in a bad way. She used to be such a gutsy girl. See you soon, my friend.
And you're not coming along to make sure I'm not the bad guy.
Who are you? How did you find me? If you came here to finish what you started, I'm not afraid of you. I'll claw your eyes out.
Don't be afraid. Barton told me where to find you.
Barton sent you to me. What do you want from me?
Lumir thought you were dead. I was supposed to find out what happened to you.
Lumir? From the rat house. He sent you.
Exactly. Someone killed a girl in Kuttenberg. Lumir thought it might be connected with you, so maybe you could help us find out who did it.
How can I help you when I haven't been in Kuttenberg since... I don't even know when.
You disappeared from the hole in the wall without saying goodbye. Without a word. What happened?
Someone attacked me when I was coming home from the baths one night. I managed to get away, but I was so afraid. I decided to run away from Kuttenberg.
Did you see who it was?
Not at all. I didn't see anything until he jumped out of the shadows and grabbed me around the neck. And he was terribly strong. I nearly blacked out right away.
And how did you manage to break free?
I had an empty pitcher in my hand, and I hit him with it. He howled and let me go, and I ran away.
Here? To the charcoal
So the
burners?
attacker might have a bruise.
First to my room in the hole. But I was so scared there. I took what I could and ran. Here, to Barton.
And your lover? What did he say?
At first he was horrified, because I had cut myself on a shard from the pitcher and was all bloody. He's been hiding me here since then.
What was it like working in the hole?
Well, I earned a few groschen, that I did. But I often had to grit my teeth.
How so?
Every single day I had to put up with their lewd remarks. Rich or poor, everyone wants to grope a girl. People, well, us girls have to watch out. We can't just put up with it. And sometimes we have to be tough, especially in a place like the hole. But you can't overdo it either. That's no good.
How so?
Because if you smile at them nicely, then sometimes they leave a groschen, or even two. You have to keep a balance. To look friendly, but unavailable.
You said that rich or poor, they all like to grope girls. Like who?
Truth be told, the hole isn't exactly a good place for a rich man. But young von Groll used to go there for a while.
That's the third time that guy's been mentioned.
Did he talk to you?
He smiled at me a lot, so I smiled back. But beyond a few groschen, there was nothing more to it. Then this thieving wench started hanging around him and... Oh, it doesn't matter. But that servant of his didn't like it, tried to drive her away, and so the young lord stopped bringing him with him.
Von Grolla had a servant with him?
Aye, a pudgy fella, well-dressed, but had a mean face. He never said a word or smiled, or even said thank you.
You walked home from the baths at night?
What's so odd about that?
Well, at night, the baths are...
Ah, right. I went there after closing. I always brought the girls a pitcher of wine or ale and took a bath while they drank it.
Ah. So that's why you had the empty pitcher you hit him with?
Right. I went there regularly. Every week.
The same way every time?
Aye, always the same way. The shortest one. I didn't want to stay out too long at night.
And who knew that you went by yourself to the baths?
Well, everyone from the tavern, I reckon. I didn't hide it.
Why didn't you go back to the hole?
Just to get murdered there? Are you mad? I'm never going back there. Not until they catch him.
How are you now?
I'm still awful scared. I can't fall asleep knowing that, and I can't even really leave the house.
She should clean up. She's kind of dirty.
Do you remember anything important about the attacker? What he looked like? What he was wearing?
I don't know anything. It was at night. He grabbed me from behind, and then I ran and never turned back.
And what about when you hit him? What did he do?
He let me go and cursed.
Aha, and what did he say?
He said Scheisse in German.
Seems you're the only one to survive the killer's attack. I know it isn't easy for you to think about it, but try to remember something else about that moment, or when you were running away. Anything can help us, even if it seems insignificant.
I don't know. It's all like in a fog.
You were walking down the street. Did you notice anything before he attacked you?
No, nothing.
You didn't see anything or hear anything?
Actually, I knew the side street wasn't empty. I heard somebody talking, but when I looked, there was nobody there. So when somebody grabbed me, I completely froze.
Did you understand what they were talking about?
Not at all. But there were two voices. Two of them waiting for me there.
It's difficult, I understand. But I need you to think hard one more time. Aside from those voices and the empty street, what else do you remember?
I didn't hear him at all. And then he grabbed me.
And nothing else? Did he grab your hair?
Well, no. He grabbed me by the throat right away and squeezed. Just for a moment. But I still had a big bruise round my neck for weeks. Barton said the man must have had a terribly strong grip. Like a miner or swordsman.
Couldn't it have been that innkeeper then? You yourself said he's a pig.
Aye, when he drinks, he turns into a total bastard.
No,
All
it's not
lewd
the
remarks
innkeeper.
and groping fingers. The lecher.
It's not the priest
Only
either.
when I got to my room, I could hear him snoring. It couldn't have been him.
Couldn't it have been Father Prokop?
Father Prokop?
No,
I
he's
don't know
not strong
him.
enough.
No, he's pretty old. He preaches in the Church of St. Peter and St. Paul.
I don't know him. And if he's an old man, how strong could his
Yep.
grip really be?
I heard William liked pretending to be a spy. Do you know anything about that?
Aye, I thought it pretty silly. A stupid trick to make himself seem more interesting. Though, I reckon he's more likely to attract an ass-kicking than a woman.
I reckon that'll be all.
I'm sorry I'm not able to help you more.
You don't need to apologise.
Thank you. Could I ask you for a favour?
If it's in my power.
When you catch that bastard, would you please let me know? So I can finally stop being afraid.
I'll stop by if I can.
Farewell, my friend.
Yeah, I'll probably not remember this place. Okay, can I fast travel from this place? No, what? I haven't unlocked the map yet, so... It's right there. Horsey, there you are.
Quick!
Onward.
Go, quick! Quick! Ja! 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 Quick! Go! Ja!
Just a bit further. Whoa, whoa.
Quick!
Whoa, whoa.
Is this part of a later quest? Or?
Hereabouts. Search.
That's probably the girl.
Go! Go! Ja! Ja! Go! Go! Ja!
Greetings. What do you want?
Are you Pine?
I am. Why?
I'm looking for Zdena.
I don't know any Stena.
Sternad said something different.
You're a friend of Sternard's, are you?
God forbid. That's all I need. A friend like that bastard. But he was the only one who really knew Zdena.
You're right there. Zdena was always cursing him. He was as lazy as a pig, but always wanted a share.
So you knew Zdena? Can you tell me anything about her?
I know Zdena all right, but she ain't been here in some time. Why are you looking for her? What do you want from her?
I'm looking for a... Back in the city, they think she's either dead or run off somewhere. And you're the last person to see her before she went missing.
Kurva.
What can you tell me about Zdena?
She always had it hard. She lost her parents and her home as a child. She had to learn to take care of herself.
And what about Sternad? How does he fit into this?
Sternard was her guardian angel, as she used to say. If she hadn't been thieving with him, she probably would have ended up a whore. But by sharing with him, she could do what she wanted.
Uh-huh. I'm surprised she stuck with him as long as she did.
That's because she had a hideout somewhere nearby. That's why she'd come to me with her loot, before they taxed her on the spot. And the last time she was here, she said one more haul like this, and she'll be able to go wherever she wanted. To Prague or Vienna.
I heard she wanted to sell you some valuables. Is that true?
Oh, aye. She had a good haul. No rubbish. Mostly jewelry, rings, one signet ring with a coat of arms and everything. She left it all here. I paid her a pretty sum of coin. It was a good thing she had a basket with her. Otherwise, she couldn't have carried it all.
And what about that signet ring? Do you still have it?
She didn't sell me the ring. She wanted to keep it. Said it'd bring her luck someday.
Do you know what kind of luck she meant? Did you recognize the signet on the ring?
No. I didn't recognize that signet. But all the while, Stena was giggling to herself. I reckon she had her eye on another mark.
Where did she go next from here? You said she had a lot of coin on her.
That she did. She also had a feeling someone was following her. Someone on a horse.
Someone followed her on a horse from Kuttenberg. Did she say what he looked like?
She didn't. At first, she thought it was some wealthy lord out for a ride. But he held back. Never passed by her and...
And did you see him? Did he come all the way here?
No. But Stena thought he would show. She even left her scarf here and paid some girl to walk around with it to make it look like she was still here.
Oh, now I can take the
And then
scarf
where'd
and
she
let my
go?
dog track
She
it.
wanted to go the back way, through the woods, so nobody could follow her. Past the woods is a road and a ford across a stream. Next to it is a huge boulder. When it rains, the water can rise fast. The road goes on to Kuttenberg.
Well, if it leads back to the road and there was really someone following her, I reckon if they saw she was long in returning, they could have waited for her at the ford, no?
Fuck! That's quite possible. I made a point of looking, but I didn't see any riders that day. So I forgot about it.
Is Denna's scarf? Do you still have it?
Aye. I wanted to give it back to her the next time she came.
Will you give it to me? I'll try having my dog track her down.
All the same to me. Here you go. But it's been a long time. I don't know if it will help.
And could it have been Father Prokop following her?
What do I know? If he has a horse and fancy clothes...
Okay, so it's not the priest.
But why would he do it?
I heard he wanted to find her an honest job, but she wasn't interested.
I don't know. She didn't say nothing about that.
And could it have been William?
And who would that be?
The third guy
bard
that's
she was
not
seeing.
in...
I don't know about that.
You know, these options have been mentioned
I don't remember
like
her
3 or 4
mentioning nobody
times.
by that name.
I think it's him.
Well, I'll go and check out that ford. Maybe I'll find something there.
I hope you don't. See you soon, my friend.
Search.
Good day to you.
Good doggy. Good boy.
This takes too long. I already know where she is, probably. Most likely it's that girl we found.
Quick!
Whoa! Whoa!
Quick!
That has to be that ford Pike was talking about. We should take a look around here.
Whoa! Whoa!
Poor thing. She didn't get very far. Ugh, she's been lying here a long time. At first glance, this body isn't as mutilated as the others. Unfortunately, I can't tell if somebody strangled her like the others. She's been lying here too long for that, but her head is smashed in. Either the murderer hit her with a rock, or dashed her hard against the ground. She must have put up a fight. Or maybe he lost his patience. Oh, she's all stuck to her clothes. They're torn up, but I don't see any cuts. The rips are odd. Like someone was looking for something. Oh, I can't make much out by now, but it seems as if the fingers on her right hand are broken. Did the murderer torture her? Or was he trying to get something out of her hand? Oh, my God. Oh, something fell out of her. A signet ring. Oh, that must be the one she stole. How did it get inside her? Did she swallow it herself? Or did the murderer shove it in there? Was she trying to hide it? Or was it punishment for stealing? Well, that's enough. But what does it all mean? I'd say she put up a decent fight, and the killer had to improvise. And that's about all I can find out. She's probably been lying here a few weeks. But that ring is a good lead.
Okay, can we pick her up, like bury her, like we did with the guys in the beginning of the game? No?
I could go for something to eat now.
Yeah, it's been a while since we fought someone. Oh, but I haven't saved either.
I really need to eat something.
You're mine! I'll rip your ass open! Come on, then! You want to try me?
Taste my steel!
We did it. Well, I mean, he won't be needing his coins anymore. Nah. Let's see, do we have a laundry place? Yes, we do.
Slowly. Nice and slow.
Is it a drunk guard?
God be with you. Keep the peace and we'll stay friends.
Cheers. I hope you have an uneventful shift.
Let's see, I think food is downstairs here.
A bit longer without food and I'll really start to be grumpy.
You there!
Keep close.
Come back here!
Look what the cat dragged in. Then I heard him coughing his lungs up.
Oh, let's see. We didn't check the ring, the signet ring.
In the yard again today.
Not a chance. That old coot will outlive us all.
I found out some interesting things about those murders. Just like you said.
That's wonderful news. But wait a while. I promised Catherine we'd wait for her.
You know Catherine?
She came to see me soon after you did, and started asking me questions. Just like you.
Will you send for her? So, we're all here.
I hope nobody else shows up. How did it go?
I reckon I've found out all I can.
And do you know who the murderer is?
Not exactly, but I have a few ideas.
I've asked around a bit, and I have my own suspicions.
Is that so? See, I was trying to recall some more details, and I had someone come to mind as well.
I didn't do all this for nothing, did I?
Well, I...
Catherine, who do you suspect?
Well, I think it was that priest, Prokop.
Nah, he's
That's
not strong
nonsense.
enough.
It couldn't have been him.
Couldn't have? Then who do you think it was?
It had to be William. Nobody else knew them all.
Ah, now you're talking nonsense. I'm sure William is innocent.
So I see we disagree. Too bad. We could have been done with it quickly.
Well, who do you think it was then?
I'm not entirely sure. First, I'll tell you what I found out, and then it might be easier for us.
Go on then. Starting with who?
Let's talk about Yarka, the one raised by Father Prokop.
What did you learn about her?
Prokop didn't just raise her out of the goodness of his heart. He was actually her uncle.
Really? But he still could have killed her.
His own relative?
Why not? He's a priest. I'm sure he knows the story of Cain and Abel.
Prokop also admitted that he didn't know how to handle her, and perhaps he was too strict.
What do you expect from a Bible thumper? Man punishes and God forgives. It never occurs to them that if man didn't punish, God wouldn't have to forgive.
Well, maybe I wouldn't hold it against him. He really tried to make sure she was well taken care of. He wanted to find her a husband, too.
And did you learn who he found?
No. I think it fell apart when Yarka started rebelling. Yarka started working for the von Grolla family, where she remained until her death.
I was there to ask whether she'd given them any trouble, but they said she was always thorough and reliable.
Ah, so what's the story with von Grolls?
A very wealthy and important family. The mother is quite devout, known to spend a lot of time in prayer. Old von Grolla's been sick for years. Can't even get out of bed.
So, who runs affairs?
That would be young Hendel. They say he's quite successful.
Before her death, I heard she often went to dances.
There's nothing wrong or surprising about that. But maybe she found someone there.
Maybe. Prokop was convinced that she went to see William. That was actually the only name he mentioned.
That doesn't mean anything.
It means she had some relationship with William, or at least knew him.
And now, most importantly, Yarka was pregnant when they killed her.
I didn't know that. Do you know for sure? So they gutted her?
To make it impossible to tell she was pregnant? I wouldn't be surprised.
May God forgive us.
Do you know who she was pregnant with? Because if we know who the father is, we'll likely know who the killer is.
She didn't tell Prokop.
It had to be someone from those dances. Maybe William.
Prokop is convinced that she was murdered by that bard, William.
And I agree with him. I heard the daughters of important men come to see him. It even went so far he had to flee the city. And the moment he's back, there's another murder.
Really? But I found out you accused Prokop first, Lumir.
What? Why?
It doesn't matter. It was a mistake, and I paid for it.
And were you as sure then as you are now about William?
I don't think so. But he's a skirt chaser. If he got Yarka pregnant, then...
Perhaps. But why would he kill and mutilate her? He could have just run away.
But then he could never come back.
Why not? He could come back a year later, once things have died down, the child would be born, the shame forgotten, and nobody would bring it up again.
I suppose that makes sense. That's all I was able to find out.
You still found out more than I did.
But it's not enough. We still don't know who the killer is.
But we can agree that she was killed because of her pregnancy, can't we?
Agreed. Somebody got rid of her to make sure nobody found out she was pregnant.
I'm sure William wanted...
William isn't the only man with a prick. And he certainly didn't use it to strangle her to death.
Such language. What are you trying to say?
That William isn't the only man in the city. It could have been anyone. And now we'll never find out.
I'm not saying it couldn't have been him. Though I don't think it was. It just seems foolish to only focus on him.
I suppose you're right. Let's forget it.
I managed to find Stanya.
Alive? You found her alive?
I did. Alive and well. Hiding with the charcoal burners.
So, she's not one of our victims?
She is. She just managed to escape the killer. She said she was attacked on her way home from the baths. She heard somebody talking in a side street, but it was empty. But when she walked by, someone grabbed her by the throat and started strangling her.
And how did she manage to get away?
She was holding an empty pitcher, and she smashed the killer in the face with it. He either got startled or hurt, but he let her go.
Did she get a look at him? Did she take his eye out or something?
No, she didn't stop to find out. Just ran. Which is probably why she survived.
And what about the blood in the bedroom?
She cut her hand on the broken pitcher. She didn't stay in her room for long. She was still so scared that she grabbed her things and ran off to her beloved charcoal burner. Besides that, she also recalled hearing 2 voices in the alley. Someone was talking to the killer.
So we have a witness. Now, just to find him.
Or an accomplice. If I remember correctly, the other one must have seen the whole thing, right? And he didn't go to report it.
According to Stanya, the murderer didn't say a word the entire time.
That's strange, right? I'd expect him to at least call her a whore.
The only word he uttered was when she smashed him in the face with the pitcher. He said Scheisse.
So, we're looking for a German?
Even I say Scheiße sometimes, and I'm not German.
I asked Stanya if she knew Prokop. She said no.
Maybe she just doesn't remember him. Or he gave a different name, or...
I don't think Father Prokop is the type to frequent the worst tavern in Kuttenberg.
Well, according to Stanya, the murderer had a terribly strong grip. Her neck was bruised for almost a month.
Doesn't almost every man have a strong grip?
Depending on what they take in hand every day. A tankard, a quill, or a hammer.
Except none of our suspects are miners or blacksmiths, eh? She said she returned from the baths in the evening regularly, and somebody knew exactly which way she would take and where to wait for her.
You mean someone followed her beforehand to figure out where to ambush her?
Who knew that she went to the baths?
Apparently everyone in the tavern. She didn't hide the fact. She also said she was sure it wasn't Mole. He may be a pig, but the evening she ran home, he was in bed snoring. Stanya admitted that she knows William. He flirted with her and tried to get to know her better, but nothing came of it.
And that's probably why I wanted to kill her. And likely rape her before that.
Well, perhaps, but Stanya doesn't think so. She's sure it wasn't William, and no matter what they say about him, in her eyes he's a good lad. And that's all that Stanya told me.
I'm so glad that girl is alive.
Me too. At least someone's had a little luck. Does she want to come back, or will she stay with the charcoal burners?
I don't think she'll come back. She's so scared now they'll come back for her, she doesn't even leave the house. I managed to find Zdena.
You found her? Is she alive too?
No. Unfortunately, she's dead.
She's dead.
And where did you find her?
Pretty far away. Near the mill she used to sell things at. Someone caught her in the forest when she was coming home with a load of coin and killed her. I reckon she put up a hell of a fight. So the killer got nervous and ended things quickly.
So he didn't strangle or mutilate her?
She'd been lying in the woods for a long time. so I couldn't really tell. But he definitely didn't hack her up like the others. Zdena tried to rob young von Grolle. It's possible she succeeded.
Von Grolle? Yarka worked for them, didn't she?
Ah, that whole family is suspicious.
Assumptions. Nothing more.
I'd say it's pretty obvious. Why else would I have found that ring on her?
They just left the ring by her body. That's odd, isn't it?
It wasn't by her body. It was inside of it. I don't know if she swallowed it herself or someone shoved it in her.
Ah, that's awful. But I can't say it surprises me.
Judging by what her accomplice said, she robbed someone good. She had so much jewelry on her, she could hardly carry it. And what's odd is when she was murdered, the killer left her basket of valuables behind.
So I reckon he didn't kill her for the money.
Oh, I didn't see that basket.
She said someone followed her on horseback from Kuttenberg. She tried to lose him, but apparently wasn't able to.
On horseback? I don't suppose she described him, did she?
Only as a wealthy type who never got too close.
Ah, that doesn't fit in with the previous murders.
Father Prokop came looking for Zdena and nearly cursed her on the spot.
What did he have in common with a thief?
He had also looked after her, but unlike Yarka, she ended up on the street, and he took it badly. My mouth is starting to hurt from all this blabbering.
So are my ears and head.
Come now, we're nearly there. We just need to find our suspect. So, Henry, who do you think did it?
I suspect one of the von Grolles.
What leads you to think that?
Are you sure it wasn't William?
Yarka was pregnant. And if the father was young von Grolle, it would make sense if he got rid of her.
Sakura, you're right.
But William could have fucked her too. Just saying.
Yarka was their maidservant until she started rebelling, right?
Yes. Do you think she was rebelling because of someone in particular?
Perhaps the young lord?
That's possible.
Alice had a young and wealthy suitor. And young von Grolle fits both descriptions.
True, true.
We could be getting somewhere.
Of course we are.
Zdena was followed by someone on a horse. Von Grolle could afford a horse.
That's not so sure, is it? And maybe the horse was stolen or borrowed.
But it certainly worsens the case for him. That much is true.
Zdena robbed von Grolle.
That's true.
It's all coming together, isn't it?
And that's all I can pin on him.
So, do we agree that it was young von Groll?
Well, old von Grolle can't do much now, can he?
So do we really agree that our most likely suspect is young von Grolle?
Aye. I agree.
I don't have a problem with it. Little rich boys are capable of anything. But what are we gonna do about it? Our suspicions aren't enough.
They'll just laugh at us without something more tangible.
So, you want to search their house?
There's nothing else we can do. There must be a clever way to do it.
We have to find some evidence. None of our conjecture is enough. What will we do?
You could sneak in there.
Or break in.
Catherine, that's not necessary. The young lad wants to learn swordsmanship, and the old one is sick and always calling for a physician.
So I can either pretend to be a sawbones, or a swordsman, or break in? That's a lot of options.
You're a clever lad. You'll figure it out.
Well, and with that, I'm gonna end this stream. So, see you tomorrow. Until then.